In preparation for this review, I obviously went to the IMDb page like most critics do and noticed how absolutely bizarre the the quote cast list is for this film. This is the Bloody Hundredth. This film features as Self Tom Hanks, Clark Gable, Adolf Hitler, yep, Steven Spielberg, Jimmy Stewart, Joseph Stalin. It's just really just one of those films. And of course, the fighting members of the Bloody Hundredth. But why do we? Why are we? Why are we crediting Adolf? Do we? Is it like? Is there? Is it so to help people find him in films? It's you can be like, oh well, we need visual references. Why do I feel like his IMDb page is incredibly troubling? I don't want to click on it. Oh God. Anyway, this isn't directed by Tom Hanks or Steven Spielberg, but it might be directed by Werner Herzog's kid as one of the two directors. It is the companion documentary to the Apple Plus show Masters of the Air. So if you've watched Masters of the Air and you kind of want to know more of the nonfiction side of the story, they released this in time in conjunction when they released the final episode of Masters of the Air. So you weren't spoiling anything because there are some people in Masters of the Air who are featured who are real people, and they're in the documentary. So obviously, if you're like, how does this end? This is very suspenseful. The documentary would ruin it for you if you haven't finished Masters of the Air. So that's a note for you. If you have watched Masters of the Air, great. Then you'll enjoy this as much as you can enjoy this. And if you have not watched Masters of the Air, go with caution because Masters of the Air will then become less intense for you as you will know what happens. It's like recapping the series. Anyway, I thought it was pretty good. It reminded me a lot of very similar war documentaries. There was the one that Peter Jackson had about World War One that got a lot of play a couple years back. That was pretty good. This one feels exactly like what Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg would produce. I don't know. I don't think they had one that went with Band of Brothers or the Pacific when they did those, or From the Earth to the Moon. So it would have been really interesting if they had. I just don't think that there are. If there are, these companion documentaries just don't get the same amount of traction as the series that they come from. But you will get to hear in their own words, the survivors of the Bloody Hundredth, how they felt participating in this and what their lives and their journeys were like, and the harrowing missions that they had to endure and what being captured was like. Some of these people went to prison camps and got captured and spent time over there, and it talks a lot about that. In many ways, if you just don't want to watch Masters of the Air, this will summarize a lot of what happens in the series, just not in story form. So if you're somebody who doesn't like scripted television, but you love documentaries, this basically is a shortened version of Masters of the Air. It definitely influenced how they shot and the stories that they told in that series. So overall, I really don't have a problem with this. I think it honored and it did what it was supposed to do. It's a lot of talking, and it's obviously not the first World War II documentary. So while I think it does exactly the right thing in terms of honoring its subject matter, at the same time, when you are coming in at 2024 with another World War II documentary about more soldiers who fought in World War II. If you want to stand out more as a film and not just get lost in a sea of documentaries that came before you, you got to do something original and interesting with the film. You can't just put your people in front of a camera like everyone else has for every other documentary that's ever happened. And that just doesn't happen here. It's a pretty standard documentary. And I don't mean, I'm trying to do this in a nice way because I don't want people to be like, these people gave their lives. Yeah, they did give their lives, and they're in a documentary that's fine. They're just not in a documentary that people are going to be like, oh my God, that I was transformed by this. It just doesn't, it just doesn't do that. It didn't find anything unique. It didn't find a unique way of telling this story. It feels like the kind of story that, you know, if I was going through like the Smithsonian or something that could be playing sort of in a room, you know, where you move off to the side and it's like the special World War II room and there's a film that's playing, you know, and you could sit there and watch that film. You don't know how long the film is. Actually, this wasn't that long of a film, so this totally could probably fit into that room. But I've been through experiences that are like that. I think some people might understand what I'm talking about, where there's like a film that goes with something, where you're at an event somewhere, some museum, or I don't know, Epcot. That's a terrible representation, but Epcot does have those films where you're like, oh, there's a film about Canada? Oh, let me go look at it. And you sit, actually, you don't even sit. That one you have to stand for like 20 or 30 minutes or whatever to learn about Canada. Anyway, this is, it does everything it needs to do except break the mold from which it came in order to truly excel and to truly be among the sort of game-changing documentaries that people will remember. Play with the medium. We have so many people now that are, doing sort of groundbreaking work with documentaries that stuff that we wouldn't have done 20, 30 years ago. And I don't know. But that's it. That's all I got. Bloody Hundredth. It has audio description from Laura Post, I believe. I don't know. It pushed me into something else. It actually tried to push me to Saving Private Ryan. I was like, man, you are over guessing exactly what I wanted to watch today. I thought it was weird that it pushed me to Saving Private Ryan and not Masters of the Air. But anyway, so check it out. I'm not giving this. No, it sounds like I'm like down on the film, but I'm not. It's just I don't know that this is going to be my favorite documentary of the year. I kind of feel bad for saying that because these guys like went out there and gave their lives, but it's a good, not great documentary. It didn't do anything different than 500 other documentaries. So I'm gonna give the Bloody Hundredth a B+. I think it needed that extra, little something to really stand out from other documentaries I've seen and heard that are just like this. And there were none. That's Peter Jackson's. I think that's Peter Jackson's documentary. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will watch and review something else. I have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can follow me on X, Threads, or Instagram, MacTheMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description, where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television series. That's it for me today. I will watch something else and see you guys on the other side.